up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? It is Wednesday. You guys know what that means. That means it is DJ in the mornings with you guys. I'll be hanging out here in the beginning room at Real Life Trading all day with you guys. So we could navigate the markets together. We could look to crush the markets together. Let me get a quick screen share of the charts. Hope you guys had this has been a wild week. This is a wild week we've had so far. Man, oh man. But yeah, very very good week. I did some trading yesterday after the mic too, so hit a couple R's there as well. But that was basically off of Tesla. Actually had a small loss on, which was me just getting overly aggressive with stops. That trade would have actually worked for like a 1.2 R, but I ended up getting stopped out somewhere like one more pivot higher, which I wasn't expecting. I was looking for this inverse head and shoulders yesterday, and I was like, all right, right around here it started to break down. I was like, okay, this is the time. 10 EMA, all good. I just moved my stops too quick, like a big dummy. But so I lost like 0.5 on that one, and then Apple had just a brilliant double bottom yesterday. So I was actually picking my daughter up from from school, and I'm in the car like waiting for her to get out. I'm looking at this Apple chart. I'm like, oh man, what a beautiful double bottom. I couldn't resist. I hardly ever placed a cell phone order, but I had to. And I placed it right around. I took which one of these candles? I think I took the break right here. And then by the time she came out of the school and I buckled her into the car seat, I was up like 1.2 R's on that trade. So things kind of picked up in the afternoon. We had earnings come out last night, so we are deep into earnings season right now. That is going to move the market, and we'll definitely cover some of those as well. But as always, let's start with the SPY. And for you guys on Jenny's on YouTube, Dale, man, I got Mom, Dad. Some of you guys, man. Sergio's here. Good morning on YouTube. What is up? What's happening? Make sure you guys all hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, make sure you do that as well. And then also we do have some news too for you guys on YouTube, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So first things first, we got to take a look at SPY. Let me flip this over to a daily chart. Can anybody see what's happening? Can anyone see like what's going on in the market? 1, 2, 3 days. We're getting another strong gap up this morning. I know it feels bullish. This is a retest gap, so very similar to yesterday. Yesterday opened up right here. It was still a retest gap, but a little bit smaller. We had a little fade. Right now, we are gapping into a lot of moving averages. So we're at some type of resistance. This is also a retest gap. At the open, I'm not looking long for me personally. I'm looking for shorts if I could find any. But I'm looking for some things to kind of fade down a little bit. If we look at the Qs, QQQ. Bomb says UAA. Yep, we can take a look at that as well. The Qs, Lucia says it's a trap. Yeah, it's a trap. Rock says cell phone trading. What? Yeah, Rock, I know you do some cell phone trading. I don't know, man. I'm not a fan. It's just harder to do everything. I don't know. But in that occasion, with that double bottom, I don't know. I just could not resist it. So QQQ, same thing. Nice little gap this morning. Probably a lot of long terms are up. A lot of swing trades. If you're bullish, up. Anytime anybody gets up, they sell. They want to lock profits, especially in a scary market like this. I do think 1, 2, 3. Again, this could be a 4 or 5. I don't know if I buy it. I think we do see one more roll down and then potentially look to go higher, or create another lower low. I'm not sure what happens after that, but I think we're getting to a certain point, honestly, where we're a little too bullish, the same way we were just a little too bearish. So I would be looking for a fade lower in the Qs, but strong gap in the morning. Not really clearing any real resistance. The only thing I can say about this one is it is above the 21 EMA. And I think a lot of it, keep in mind, a lot of stocks, like if you guys are looking at the long-term portfolios that you might have, they seem relatively flat, but the market is gapping. So if you're kind of wondering why, believe it's because Google is really carrying the market. So don't get too depressed of like, how come everything's just gapping like crazy? The market's really moving on Google today. So you have some kind of unless you're holding Google, then you're feeling very good today. Also with that, Google came out, they crushed earnings. I looked at the balance sheet, fantastic. I mean, the billions of dollars they do have one issue, and that issue is that they do have billions of dollars sitting around, which normally is not a bad thing, but a lot of companies typically like would go out, purchase another company, be able to add to the balance sheet. Because Google has their hand in everything, they have a lot, like they can't go out and buy Snapchat. They can't go out and buy, like, there's a lot of things that they cannot buy because it's then they start to look for a monopoly and they're restricted from doing so. So they have a lot of cash that they honestly cannot do a lot with. The good news though is that they have no choice but to reinvest in their own business. So tons and tons of cash usually is not a bad thing. They don't have as much cash as Apple sitting around, but I would say they have a decent amount. So pretty incredible gap. We'll see where this one opens. Right now it's at 30.58. So we are slightly gapping to all-time highs. 30.19.33 was the all-time high for Google. They did also announce the 20-to-1 stock split. For anybody that's not familiar with stock splits, of how that works, don't feel like that split in general is going to make you money. All it is like if the stock was worth $100 and you had one share and they did a 20-to-1 stock split, you would just have 20 shares at $5. So your valuation from the stock split, if you buy before or after, doesn't honestly make a difference when you want to buy Google, but Google would be a strong purchase. I'm definitely picking up some more Google as well. And the one thing that will benefit on a stock split is people will look at $3,058 and they're like, what is my one share going to get me? But if you do a 20-to-1 stock split, now you get a lot more retail traders, you get a lot more swing traders, things like that in there. So we saw the same thing once Tesla did a split. It went absolutely nuts. Buy dips on Google. For me, I'm buying dips on Google. The one thing with this too is you're not making money from the actual split, but the balance sheet is very strong. So it's a strong, solid company. Probably one of the best balance sheets I've seen out there. So my personal thought would be, to accumulate some Google, and especially as they do the split, the stock price becomes cheaper, not the portfolios, but that does give some more people access to it, and it becomes a little bit more appealing to feel like you're getting a good deal on Google. Valuation is only 25 times earnings. It's still very, very low. So Google, I do like. We'll take a look at some of the stocks. Let me just look at UAA real quick for my boy on YouTube Live. So a little bit of a gap right now, a little lower on trading volume. That might change during the day. Yeah, it's probably okay. Yeah, so Under Armour. Again, it's interesting. It is technically a retest gap if it opens up here. Obviously, where this thing opens is going to have to be key. Right now, where it is opening, Bombdad, is into some kind of resistance. It is also a retest gap. I do expect probably some kind of fade out of the gate. I don't know. Did they report earnings or anything? I'm not sure why it's gapping if news came out or whatever. It doesn't look like there was earnings. I could be wrong on that. But it does have a little bit of a gap. It is above previous high. It is also above a high wave candle. So high wave candle is honestly just some type of indecision, which to me, that at least gives it a little bit more bullish sentiment. The fact that we gapped above that indecision, but 1, 2, 3 days in a row, you are at some kind of resistance. I would look for a fade. If you want to get in long, just wait a little bit. You could probably get better pricing than just jumping in at the open. Let's take a look at some of the ones that we trade for this month's 10 EMA strategy. That would be Tesla. Tesla, very, very tight range yesterday. I mean, besides that opening dip and then the recovery, we just kind of stayed flat. We did build some pressure. We are above that pressure right now. Still right inside of yesterday's price range, but also opening and closing. So very tightly bound at this point. However, if this thing does start to run and probably really gets up to like 937.48, I think that's a buy zone. This would be a one strong candle. You have a little bit of a indecision, but again, you're getting some profit taken from 2 days bullish. This thing has potential to break out. You're looking at, I mean, the range for this one's probably 966, 972, somewhere in that range would be our first real point of some type of resistance. I don't know if we have a huge, massive day today. We might sit in this range. It is inside. But as per the rules, if it opens up here, unless it breaks within the first 20 minutes, we might be sitting on this one for an hour, just kind of waiting for a setup on that one. Apple, we are looking at right now, it's close. It is so close to the possible trading. Again, depends on where this thing opens. But if it opens up here and not gapping above yesterday's price, we do have to wait 20 minutes to get a trade in on this one. Chart-wise, again, I mean, this is a good gap and go. I will say on Apple, this is a fantastic gap and go. That came from earnings. And probably some more bullish sentiment, but 1, 2, 3 strong days. You do have a little bit of resistance up here at the current stop prices from yesterday's range, and even pre-market, you're kind of cutting into that a little bit. So I would expect some kind of a pullback and then look to get into Apple long. But I will say in 10 years, if you guys think Apple will be higher than current price of 174.61, and you guys wanted to add it to a long-term position, buy those pullbacks, you guys get my blessing on that one for sure. Let's take a look at DAL. And we're getting to the good one soon. I promise we're gonna get to the good one soon. This one has to, again, depends on where this one opens. We might be sitting on our hands for a little bit on this one, at least 20 minutes, unless we get some kind of move. We did break moving averages. We had some strong days. I can see a little bit of a pullback, and honestly, bullish still looks to be the direction on this one. We're kind of still in the downtrends. Let me see. Kind of broke out. This was our bounce. Delta looks, I'm not a fan of holding airlines long term. Intraday, I think we got to see some kind of a pullback first before we go long, but definitely on the outside of the downtrend, I would probably be leaning a little bit more bullish, but again, probably a little bit shorter time frame. We are looking for maybe a little bit of a pullback. AMD absolutely crushing earnings. When the market is coming down and fear is in the market, buy good companies, right? AMD is a very strong company. I could see probably 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that's 4 or 5, but I think this one gets some kind of a pullback eventually from here. A lot of people going to be profitable. It took like this down here. Like people were like, yeah, I want this thing at $100. Like if I could get this thing at $100, that'd be awesome. How many people actually bought this thing at $100? It was pretty scary at that point, right? So, but you did have some people buy it. Anybody that did is roughly up about 30% at open, 31, 32% at open from today, and they had to wait 3 days. Imagine making returns of 30% in 3 days. Like, what do you think you would probably do with that stock? I would probably sell it. Unless it's in a long-term portfolio, you are kind of tangled in between some of those moving averages as well. But trade-wise, this one will, unless some weird something happens, this one is gapping above for sure yesterday's range. We will have access to play this one at open here at Real Life Trading. So this one we're going to be watching closely. Earnings outstanding. Realistically, I have like a 175 price target on this thing. So if you do want to add it on long terms, again, I think it's a good solid company. They crush earnings every single the last couple earnings reports that I've been watching absolutely crushed it. This is one that I actually said live in the room. I said a lot of times, like we've seen it before where they crush earnings and the stock just falls. I said this one's primed to make some kind of a big jump bullish, just because the last couple times it has done that, it's been at all-time highs going into earnings. This one's a much different story. So all they had to do was really come out with some strong earnings, and this thing was getting a massive move, which it did. Again, lots of people profitable, probably wait for some kind of pullback. I might actually be looking to short this one rather than go long on this one toward the open. But if we end up not really getting a good setup that we like, and we're just waiting and waiting. I'll look a little bit later in the day, maybe for an opportunity to go bullish on this one, but probably at open. It's either I would not go bullish at open. I would either be waiting or looking more bearish than bullish. Nvidia is a pretty fantastic gap and go. We are, I don't know if any of those two wicks are real, but I don't think those wicks are real by any stretch of the imagination, but this is actually a gap and go. Yeah. On this one, I think we'd probably want to lean a little bit more bullish than bearish. Yeah, Cam says bullish. I agree. I want to lean bullish on this thing because it is a gap and go. You did have some selling yesterday come in. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about is where this thing's opening. It doesn't look like it's at any huge major resistance. The only thing I don't like is all these moving averages kind of tangled up in here, but otherwise I'm looking for like a 266.83 price target. So that gives us about $8 to the upside. I'd be watching that, but you do have some shorts that came in toward the end of the day that might be getting trapped. If we look at the TTM, we got some bullish momentum starting to come in. We were just, this is a 3-minute, but right now we're approaching the oversold zone. Again, I'd probably wait at least the 3 minutes before hopping in. I would love to see a red candle at open, take a breakout higher than that. That would be my play. That would be my normal play. Obviously, we're looking for the 10 EMA. So Gregory says, I'll make it a lot easier to day trade Google and Facebook after they split. Yeah, yep. So it's the same valuation, like nothing changes except for people's mentality, and especially people that don't really understand what a stock split is. You're gaining more shares, but the valuation in your portfolio doesn't see a jump. So that's all good. Somebody in Scott, what's up, Scott, says, I think Starbucks is a bearish gap and go. We'll take a look at SBUX. Did they have earnings? Oh, they did have earnings. Yeah, I was out and about, so I missed a lot of the earnings yesterday. But yeah, so it looks like they had some kind of earnings, and this is a bearish gap and go. You're 100% correct. Again, we have a little bit of support down here. Like, I would much prefer this thing if this thing ended up opening at like 93.55. Doesn't look like that's the case. But anything under that wick is much more impressive. Technically, it is a bearish gap and go, though. So yeah, I'd be leaning a little bit more short on this one, Scott, than long at this point. Targets on this would be, man, we gotta move out a little bit further. Let's see. I think our swim is freaking out too. Yeah, you have a good support from over here. This 96.55, somewhere in that zone. If you guys are looking for puts or anything like that, as soon as this thing breaks and closes that pivot, and you guys want to buy some puts for a little bit longer term, that could make sense. It has some room to drop at least to about 88.73. If not that point, I'd be looking for like an 82.72 zone. So those would be my two spots, but it has to break that. We are at a little bit of decent support. We've had good consolidation, and this is our first day of a gap and go. But yeah, I would definitely be leaning a little bit more bearish than bullish on that one, for sure. PayPal. Oh, yeah. How'd I forget about that one, Devin? PayPal. Whew. That was a brutal gap. Brutal gap. Earnings came out. They did not do what they're supposed to. People a little upset. This is a pretty massive day down. I think we lost about $30, almost $40. This is also a bearish gap and go as well. So you got to be leaning a little bit more bearish. Next support really isn't. I think we have an actually open gap up here. 125, 126, somewhere in that zone is going to be probably the target for this. I think at this point, this gap does get filled. For this one, how I would play it is I want some kind of, I think you're going to have people that were shorting. Like, there's people shorting. This is going to be a terrific gap for them. See if you get a little bit of some buying coming in first. Try to short this one as high as you possibly can. But sentiment would be bearish. I don't even know if I want to play that fade on this one to the long side. Man, we are like at a little bit of resistance. We got a lot of room to the upside. I might change that. I might be, just because this is the bottom of the gap. Again, I think this gap does get filled. I don't think, maybe not today. We'll see. It's down a lot already. It is a gap and go. I think a lot of people are probably profitable in this thing short, and we are at a decent support. Yeah, you might. I don't know. I'm probably gonna stay away from it for me personally, until it gets down to that 125-ish, and then I might be looking to execute some kind of longs. But there's some people trapped for sure. Last couple of days we're buying. They're all completely underwater at this point. You might have an opportunity for fade, even though it is a technically it's a gap and go bearish. But that's down a lot. You might get some buying at some point. It might not be at open. We'll see how this thing reacts. I think probably at open you get some kind of bullish move and then look to short. That would be the best play for it. Cam says, I think it's going to fade after open. I'm guessing that's on Nvidia. Yep. So we'll see how it goes. Again, at the beginning portion of the market, most of the market is moving on. Most of the market is moving on the fact that Google is up. So again, don't be too offended if your stocks in your portfolio is not reacting the same way. Let me just grab a link real quick for my friends on YouTube Live. By the way, make sure if you guys listen to this, hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube as well. This way we just mess with the algorithms a little bit as well. And I'm going to post a link down here too, just so you guys see it. So like I said, we do have some news. We had free week last week. If you guys appreciate the analysis, if you guys are checking out Real Life Trading pre-show every day, we do have a promotion we put out for Real Life Trading during free week. We are extending it. If you get to the exact day, I believe to the end of this week. But don't quote me on the exact date because I just made that up as far as the date goes, but I think it's to the end of this week. But if you guys go there and you check out the packages, if you guys are subscribing, you guys could subscribe monthly, but if you do want to pay annually, then there is a promotion. You have considerable discounts for the year. And then every single day, just how we're going through the analysis for you guys on Sochi says February 10th. This is why I need Sochi in my life. This is why I need you, Sochi. So yeah, February 10th. Technically, Jim, I need you in my life too. Jim got the right date. Man, we should have t-shirt prizes for people. I don't know why we don't. But yeah, so if you guys go to reallifetrading.com, go to that link that I posted, you'll see the live trade rooms. You'll see the different packages. We have swing trade rooms. We have day trade rooms. We have bundles. You guys will get the analysis all day long in the actual rooms. You get access to Slack, which has all of our members. We are above 550 members in Real Life Trading, where you could see their charts, their trades, their ideas. You'll get breaking news as the market is developing in real time. So make sure you guys check that out if you guys are interested. Oh, Vinman's on YouTube. Vinman's on the chat. Vinman's everywhere. Vinman's like Jesus of Real Life Trading. He's everywhere you want to be. He's like Visa, I'm telling you. But we have Nabil. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name, Nabil. But you'll be, I don't care if that's wrong or right. You'll always be a Nabil to me at this point. I like it. Man, I like the way it sounds. LAC, he wanted to look at. Not a lot of volume in this one. Day trading, this one could be a little tough. A little bit tougher on the day trade. Not a huge amount of volume. And right now, it looks like we're kind of flat. I mean, we're still in yesterday's range technically, and we have a good amount of moving averages above us. So I would just be careful at this point if you're looking to buy. You do have a little bit of a double bottom here. This is probably roughly about a 618 retracement, so that would be a decent spot to buy. But 1, 2, 3 days in a row, you got some strong resistance above you. Wait for a pullback if this is something that you did want to get into. Day trade wise, again, it's gonna be a little tough. Even if you look at the daily chart, you gap a lot in this thing. So anytime you see a chart that has like gap, they make it very tough as far as they make it very challenging. The gaps mean a lot less than something that flows consistently, and then you get the random gap because people a little bit more surprised in those gaps than anything. Yeah, Hector's in the house. Man, Hector enjoying that sweet Florida weather. But I woke up, I couldn't see anything. It was like I live in a big marshmallow. It was foggy everywhere. Couldn't even see my neighbor's house, but I don't even like my neighbor, so I was happy. But then the fog's going to clear up and we'll see what happens. I actually do like my neighbor, so if he's listening right now, I appreciate you. I'm just kidding. Let's see. We got PayPal in that one. I'm seeing if there's any other tickers. We got 3 minutes. If you guys got other tickers you wanted to look at, again, we're going to stick to the same 6 stocks that we're just trading, part of our plan for this month. But Hector wants to look at CRM, little Salesforce. They also, oh man, did we talk about Slack? You get Slack included with your memberships, but they own Slack as well. So we use their product. We know what they do. Salesforce is not going anywhere. Very strong company. That's a good one, Hector. Wow. I like. Oh, sneaky little gap. Yeah, so anything above yesterday's candle. I wish there was a little bit more volume on that breakout, but yeah, that's a good inside candle. This thing's got some room to run. We're at 233. I mean, we've been higher. 311. It's at a good little support zone. It got some kind of a bounce off of. We did close above the 21 2 days in a row. This thing's got room at least at 238. I'd be looking for. I like that one. That is good. Gap and go. If you guys are gap players, fans of the gaps, that would be the one to play. I like that one. Big gap on Facebook for Mike. Yeah, this one's going to fall a little bit more into the retest gap, but that is a massive gap on Facebook. Again, all of these guys are like the bigger guys, the Googles, Facebooks. I didn't check out Amazon today, but a lot of the bigger guys are definitely moving. And that's causing, again, a little bit of divergence in the market from probably your portfolios to what the SPY looks like. This, I'd probably look for some kind of fade down. You have that 89, which is going to be strong resistance. 1, 2, 3 days of people being profitable. I'd have to actually look a little bit short on this one. And again, Facebook is Facebook. They're not going anywhere. They got the Meta in their back pocket. Oh, we didn't look at Roblox. I forgot. That's one of those 6. How did I forget that one? I just got so excited from Google, I think. I don't know. Let's take a quick look at Roblox. Roblo, what are you doing? 1, 2, 3. Right now, it depends, I guess, where this one opens. But right now, it does not look like we're going to be outside of that opening range. So this would not be on the list. So let me just verify. AMD, Nvidia, I think, are the only 2. Let's take a look at Apple, see if that one moved, because I think it was pretty close to it. AAPL. Oh, we might. All right, in the chat, YouTube. I know I gotta leave you guys. I don't want to. It's like a breakup every time I gotta end the stream. But don't worry, you guys could always join me in the real trading rooms with my other friends here all day long. So you guys in the chat that will be with me, just let me know exactly where Apple runs. We'll take a look at that one. But again, lots of buying. 1, 2, 3. It's good gap and go. But we'll see if we have access for a 10 EMA. All right, YouTube. I'll end the stream now. You guys could join us tomorrow for free every single morning, the first 30 minutes prior to the market. I send you guys out that link. If you guys do want to check that out and join us for all day long, we do have those promotions running. I'll catch all of you.